the Epic of Gilgamesh, as being a hairy, man-like monster with great strength.
My question is, what is the truth behind this particular story? And it is possible, as some scholars have suggested, that Goliath might have been an extraterrestrial.
There was an archaeologist locally, Humo Deer, and he found whole extensive areas of rock chips that had very clearly come from one or more of the underground cities.
High above the thick Honduran jungle, a lost city found. Archaeologists are excavating and removing dozens of artifacts believed to be from the mythical White City, where an ancient civilization once thrived.
Countless civilizations have existed on the planet over the course of history that we never knew of. Among them included the giants that remained buried for thousands of years and is now slowly unraveling. So, let's watch! Cave discovery.
It actually looks pretty cool. But you can see.
They say adventure awaits the curious, and for one tourist in Thailand, that was true. Exploring an abandoned cave, he stumbled upon something out of prehistoric times. A giant skeleton with massive bones that were perfectly intact, and some strange bones scattered around suggested it might belong to another animal or something unknown. When he uploaded the footage online, opinions were split. Some called it a cleverly crafted hoax and pointed out to railings suggesting it was a setup, while others wholeheartedly believed the claim.
There's our giant human being. Try and put myself here for a reference.
Marble Mountain Bigfoot.
It's to the right of him. He's walking that way. Okay, see that king crab?
The very visible size and hairy nature of this one, despite its distance, is convincing enough for it to be a Bigfoot. A video taken in June 2001 by the lead of a youth group, Campus Life, were on a backpacking trip where they spotted a large figure walking down the mountain ridgeline.
There he is. It's to the right of him. He's walking that way.
With that mountain being a no visiting area due to the large presence of venomous snakes, there's no way it could have been a person and would have to have been a Bigfoot. The video's source believes this is the longest known video of its kind ever recorded for that time period.
It's to the right of him. He's walking that way. Okay, see that king crab?
Cyclops Skull.
Next thing you know, bada boom, bada bing, bada bam, you have a Cyclops.
While most would hope to find ancient treasure while digging, these guys found an ancient piece of history. Farmers in the Midwest were plowing their newly acquired land for the first time, where they discovered this extremely large skull. The skull looked like that of a giant human with only a single eye socket in the center. The fossil skull was then removed from the area and was taken by archaeologists for study. Based upon carbon dating, it's believed to be at least 3 million years old, with the creature's body having stood 9 feet tall and it weighing 6 tons. With no one able to understand the full nature of this amazing discovery, many started calling it a Cyclops. Over the hilltop. Unexplainable things seem to pop up more and more these days. Recently, in the mountains of Peru, a lady spotted something moving far in the distance. Grabbing her phone, she started recording. Zooming in, you could see a head moving and arms flailing around. Some people brushed it off as just an ordinary hilltop with trees. But if you look closely, it really did appear human-like, poking its head and all. Could this have been a mountain giant? It's hard to say for sure, but it's certainly intriguing. Sometimes what we think we might see just might be a glimpse into something much bigger and stranger than we could ever imagine. Giant skull remains. With these large bones and the skull being found laying on the surface, it proves someone killed the large animal and let it decay to the bone. A driver at an unknown location filmed this footage and posted it to the internet. Users began calling it replicas, or realistic-looking structures made by people. Others call them props used for a filming set. The source of the footage, however, believes these are the actual bones of some large gorilla or giant that passed away for unknown reasons. Mountaintop Watcher.
It's like a person's silhouette up in them clouds.
It's almost surprising how a giant like this can reach the steep, isolated, high-rise mountain terrain. On November 23, 2023, a driver made a stop while passing through Quartzville Drive in Oregon when he noticed this appearing giant that looked to be watching him. Initially, he thought it was just curious, but at the same time believed that its territory was being invaded. According to him, it must have appeared out of a stone door, since there's no way it could have climbed all the way up there just to stare at him. This creature has been referred to as the Quartzville Giant, as well as the Oregon Giant.
It's like a person's silhouette up in them clouds.
Cave Inhabiting Giant. A video captured on January 13, 2023 might explain why exploring caves randomly is not always a good idea. An adventure seeker spotted an unknown giant from a distance in a cave in Mexico. Although many believe it to be a Bigfoot, it doesn't quite resemble one. Despite being quite far away, the giant noticed the recorder and his group. Perhaps it didn't appreciate its privacy being violated, making it wise to wait for dark before leaving the area to avoid any potential danger. Giant Troll. A giant troll, when and if compared with Bigfoot, looks more like the evil version of it. A small recording camera was placed in an abandoned mine by the forest, where it recorded a subtle sighting. Giant trolls are mythical creatures in folklore, often depicted as large, brutish beings living in caves or mountains. Known for their immense strength and typically hostile nature, they were thought to be part of Scandinavian legends and various fantasy stories, until this very footage recorded a living proof of one of them. One has to say this potentially man-eating giant is quite ugly. Folklore Giants. Pitch darkness in a dense forest gives you the very no-go vibe, as you could be ambushed by anything. A group of Bigfoot hunters were hoping to not only find, but also get close enough to a Bigfoot in Michigan after multiple reports of giant sightings. Using night vision devices, a small crew of Bigfoot enthusiasts were strolling the suspected area in the forest, until suddenly they came across this. A giant of unknown kind that, although it looked as tall as a Bigfoot, seemed more like a thing out of folklore. Ancient Doorway. Ever heard of the mysterious ancient doorway at Heijin City, also known as the Longmen Fortress? This ancient doorway seemed to just float in the air and was carved directly out of a cliff. The fortress was concealed by deep gorges and was almost invisible to the untrained eye. Even the residents knew little about its origins. Some believe it might have been built by a civilization of giants, while experts suggest it could have been a refugee camp from ancient armies seeking shelter from invaders. The exact truth remained a mystery. Was it a relic of giants or a clever hideaway? I think we may never know for sure. Jaren Hybrid. If there's any clip that's been well understood and documented, it's this one. In 2011, footage emerged which captivated global attention. In the remote landscapes of China's Hubei province, locals long spoke of an elusive hominid, the Jaren. This cryptid, also known as the Yeren or Wild Man of China, allegedly inhabits rugged mountains and dense forests, resembling global legends like the Bigfoot and Yeti. Cave Mystery. Deep in the heart of the Middle East, two men exploring a cave stumbled upon something terrifying. A gray creature with glowing eyes stared directly at them, its gaze unsettling, whispering to one another. They cautiously observed the mysterious being. The creature's true identity remains unknown, but netizens have their theories. Some speculated it might be a giant in hibernation, while others believed it to be a jinn. Skeptics, however, suggested it could just be a wild animal. So what do you think? Was it a giant, a jinn, or simply an animal? Stone prints. Usually, we see handprints like these in prehistoric caves, which is normally the style of saying we were here, but the handprints like these don't seem like a friendly message. In the US state of Wyoming, these handprints were discovered and were not like the friendly ones. They were almost a foot deep into the stones, almost like someone had hit hard into the rock. And you know what was even crazier? In comparison to these normal human hands, they looked almost like a dwarf. As this discovery made its way online, there were wild speculations about whether it was created by giants. Ironically, skeptics were left speechless for once when they tried to counter this claim. Malacan Giants. Back in 2016, there was this crazy discovery that could totally change everything we know. Some history experts were exploring a cave on Pulau Upe, which is this island off the coast of Malacca, and they stumbled upon super big skeletal remains. And get this, just outside the cave, they found 2 massive graves, each 5 meters long and half a meter wide, placed 15 meters apart. Wild, right? Based on the size of the bones and skulls, it was thought that they could be the remains of people between 3 and 5 meters tall. Real-life giants! This is lined up with old stories of huge tombs in the area. If more research confirms this, we might actually have evidence that giants once lived in Malacca. Keep a lookout. Who knows what other giants are hidden throughout history? Frozen Legend. Back in September 2018, a jaw-dropping video surfaced online. A massive frozen beast bound in ropes. The uploader claimed it was taken down by his hunter father in 1953 after a dramatic encounter where these giants allegedly attacked. In self-defense, his father brought one of the creatures home and stashed it in an underground bunker, where it remained frozen for decades. This beast was tipping the scales at over 300 pounds, with colossal hands and feet, and became an instant real-life legend. The internet exploded with speculation. Was it a brilliant hoax or a true frozen marvel? Skeptics weren't buying it, but many were captivated by the tale. Ridgetop Frankenstein. Though the shiny eyes prove this to not be a human, the vibe around here is that it understands humans. Tourists who were returning from nature after a long day of trekking suddenly spotted this really tall, mysterious figure who was watching down on them from a ridgeline. Apart from its shiny eyes, it seemed to be dressed in dark clothing and holding a cane. One of the tourists even shared that the very ridge where it was standing could only be reached by climbing manually, which left them even more spooked and confused about its nature. Woodland Bigfoot or gorilla? It might be walking a lot like a Bigfoot, but it's certainly not behaving like one. A transport driver was passing on a countryside road in Kansas when he noticed a large ape or Bigfoot that was casually walking past the woodland area. With that area being vast lands, the hairy giant could either be having its own hike or perhaps was in search of food. It almost seems like this one's not afraid of being seen, or perhaps started to get quite comfortable being around in open, treeless areas. Giant Vanish. On Northern Ireland's coast, something astonishing happened. Tourists and National Trust rangers were exploring when they spotted the legendary Finn McCool. Excitement buzzed as one of them quickly pulled out a camera and started recording. But in a blink, Finn was gone. Just when they thought they'd lost him, a strange noise drew their attention. They turned around just in time to see Finn vanish into a magical doorway within the rock face. Historians, geologists, architects, and giant experts rushed to investigate. Despite their efforts, no signs of a doorway were ever found. However, unmistakable snoring echoed from within the rock. It seems Finn McCool was indeed snoozing inside the mountain. I guess Finn was taking his legendary nap. Lost Sasquatch. This Sasquatch was either completely lost, suspicious, or just not comfortable with any trees around. A long-distance trekker was on a hiking trail in an undisclosed location, near to a rocky hill close to the forest, where he noticed a large, hairy figure walking over half a mile away. Now, usually Sasquatch are known to walk with confidence. This one was showing constant signs of confusion. Now it's unsure if it was trying to explore new territory while being extra careful, or was returning to its den and was suspicious about someone or something being too close to its home. Ancient old human footprints. A footprint dating back to tens of thousands of years might not seem of much use until it starts giving out details from back then. In September 2021, archaeologists were excavating a site in New Mexico's White Sands National Park, where they found human tracks dating back to 23,000 years. The discovery also restructured our understanding of early North American settlement, proving that humans came before the period where ice could block migration. The size, depth, and nature of the footprints showed humans from that time, along with multiple other footprints, indicating that they lived with animals. Rabbit hole resident. Be it going down a cave or down a rabbit hole, the chances of running into an unearthly creature may be slim, but never zero. An explorer was adventuring unexplored caves in southern parts of Africa, where in one of them, he accidentally caught this human-shaped figure with a glowing set of eyes. It stood inside the cave with only its head partially visible and most of its body hidden in the dark. Bigfoot on break. Bigfoots are usually seen on their feet, but this one seemed to be giving himself a break. Camera footage from November 2023 showed a large Bigfoot-like entity resting in a dense Canadian forest in British Columbia. Seconds into the clip, the hairy giant stood up and began plucking away at several trees before disappearing. According to the local who filmed the incident, the area had fresh crime scene tape, which may or may not be relevant to the sighting. Although Bigfoots have never been known to prey on humans, this case could be an exception. Smiling tree cryptid. No one knows the agenda of this tree-stalking creature, which certainly wouldn't be there for any good. A camper was setting up his tent for the night when he noticed this bizarre figure who was curiously watching him over from a tree. It looked purplish in color, was smiling with its teeth visible while hanging around by the tree branches looking at the source. Using a flashlight, the camper attempted to get closer to investigate, and he saw its fingers were lengthy, along with pointy, visible nails coming off of them. Forbidden rabbit hole. The odds of finding ancient treasure or artifacts are as risky as encountering a cave giant, if not greater. A team of young treasure hunters ventured into a long-abandoned cave in Cancun, Mexico, hoping to discover historical treasures. Only a few meters in, they noticed the walls narrowing and darkening. Preparing to explore the cave's depths, they were suddenly confronted by a terrifying silhouette emerging from the shadows. Despite outnumbering the cave dwellers 7-1, the group was so frightened that they abandoned their quest immediately. Walk past Yeti. Commonly, Yetis are known to be calm as a Bigfoot, but are a lot more aggressive and confrontational by nature. A man who was vlogging in Norway after skiing noticed an extremely large figure walking not too far from where he was standing. Usually, Bigfoots use constant tree cover to hide themselves in the presence of a human being, but this Yeti didn't seem to care. All in all, the recorder didn't feel any safety risk and decided to record it since the giant was of a fuzzy nature. Desert encounter. They say deserted areas hold sinister secrets, and this case was no exception. While crossing a barren desert, travelers spotted a strange, dark creature in a cave. Drawn by curiosity, they got closer and were shocked to see a creepy figure staring right at them. As the footage surfaced online, opinions were divided. Some insisted it was a supernatural being, while skeptics dismissed it as a hoax. But the true identity is still under the blanket of mysteries. Suspected Sasquatch.
An elusive creature.
The fact that this one miserably failed at camouflaging itself suggests it's an inexperienced juvenile. A driver in the Arizona desert spotted this unknown figure casually walking until it realized it was being watched. It immediately attempted to hide, using its fur color to blend with the dried desert shrubs. If it had been a person, they would have likely begged for a ride out of the scorching desert heat.
An elusive creature.
Ranch mystery. Just as birds and animals cross your property, even the most bizarre creatures end up trespassing through private land. A ranch owner was burning a pile of dry leaves on the outskirts of his ranch when he noticed a figure of unknown nature who suddenly appeared as if fleeing away in the opposite direction. With wildlife mostly rare and the near town being more than 50 miles away, the owner believes it was nothing ordinary. He believes it might have been a cryptid creature from folklore that was running for its life while the fire got bigger. Jumbo Mark. To those who don't believe in the existence of giants, what would be the possible explanation for this? In South Aceh, Indonesia, a giant footprint was discovered, and it was no ordinary footprint. It was almost 6 meters long and deeply imprinted into the rocks. According to local legends, it was left by the giant Tuan Tapa during his battle with 2 dragons near the mountains. Pretty wild, right? Whether the legend is true or not, the existence of these massive footprints in the region is intriguing. What do you think about this giant mystery? Share your thoughts below. Mountain mystery. While driving across Whistler's Mountain in Alberta, a guy spotted a massive figure way up high. Armed with his shaky camera on maximum zoom from a speeding car, he started recording, like a person standing there. He was convinced that it was something bigger, possibly a Nephilim, a Yeti, or who even knows, secret tech maybe? He headed back the next day, but that giant was gone. After going viral, the guy started to claim that government agents were tailing him. Things got weirder as he got turned away by mysterious officials. And later uploaded another video where he said he was faking all this for entertainment purposes only, but the netizens weren't buying it and pointed out his odd behavior in the video. Titan stairs. Finding this stairs in the middle of nowhere is odd, but what if they're huge enough to think whether they're made by the giants? A group of tourists were exploring the wilderness when one of them went to the other side and found this.
Check these huge steps out.
Huge stone steps went up on the hill, and they were no ordinary steps. They were almost 3 times larger than the normal ones. We could see the man climbing the stairs, which seemed like quite a task. This footage made a massive buzz online. Even the archaeologists and other experts looked into it, and all of them were just as shocked. They couldn't explain how and by whom those were built, which sparked even more theories of the possible existence of giants. Giant Step. Near a little town called Amsterdam, close to the Swaziland border, archaeologists stumbled upon something jaw-dropping. A giant footprint, dubbed the footprint of God by some. It was estimated to be between 2 and 3 million years old. This colossal footprint was truly astonishing. Standing next to it, a woman who was nearly 5'8" looked tiny in comparison. The big toe and 4 other toes were clearly visible, as if someone had stepped in mud ages ago, which eventually fossilized into granite. There have been speculations about giants for centuries, even references in biblical times. While it might sound unbelievable, this footprint could belong to someone from a race of giants. What do you think? To whom does it belong? Ancient status. In a place near Jinan City in eastern China, scientists uncovered an amazing grave site. Skeletons found in these graves were giants compared to the people of ancient China. The men, standing at 6 foot 3 inches, were likely of high status due to their large tombs. Experts believe their impressive size was due to a rich diet that changed their physiques. These discoveries are linked to the Longshan culture, a late Neolithic civilization. The findings include ruins of 104 houses, 205 graves, and 20 sacrificial pits. Colorful pottery and jade items were also unearthed. The average height in modern China is 5 feet 8 inches, making these ancient giants even more impressive. Truly, giants have roamed the earth once. Trapped Titans.
That is creepy weird. Oh. No, come on, have a look at this.
A fearless group decided to explore the hidden underground caves. As they entered the cave, it was adorned with mysterious carvings. But what they found deeper inside was far scarier. They uncovered a trove of artifacts, ancient symbols, statues, and what looked like a legit altar. And you know what was even crazier? They found huge humanoid figures in the walls that looked like giants were trapped inside of it. As the footage went online, people went nuts over it. Some said all of those things were crafted by the giants that once roamed our planet, while others said this was not the case, but those carvings were pieces of art. What's your take on this? Giants, or really just art? Bigfoot Fiasco. In San Antonio, Texas, back in 2012, a self-proclaimed Bigfoot tracker claimed he bagged the legendary beast and captured it with deer urine and pork ribs. He proudly dubbed the hairy corpse Hank and even snapped photos and uploaded for proof. But experts weren't buying it. When the experts got a closer look, they spotted clear giveaways, irregularities, especially in Hank's face. Turns out it wasn't Bigfoot at all. Just a stuffed mannequin. Plus, this tracker had a knack for hoaxes, like once passing off a Halloween costume as the real deal. Seeing isn't always believing. Sometimes it really is just a clever illusion. Petrified Heart. Stumbling upon a petrified human heart that's way larger than normal. Sounds insane, right? It happened in Italica, a small village 3 hours from La Paz, Bolivia. This heart measured 17 centimeters long and 12.5 centimeters wide. Definitely larger than normal. After getting online, this footage sparked wild theories. Could it be from a giant, some ancient sentinel? When this heart was shown to experts, they were intrigued and suggested that this heart could be from a giant, like the ones mentioned in old stories from South America. Legends talk about Patagonian giants over 3 meters tall, such as the famous Camacho in Bolivia and others in Peru and the United States. Giant evidence. A massive ring, big enough to fit around an entire fist, was discovered, suggesting that giants once walked the earth. This 13,000-year-old artifact had sparked a frenzy on social media. People were convinced that these colossal beings were real, and some believed that they might even return someday. The intricate craftsmanship of the ring hints at a lost era of giants, with skills surpassing today's metalsmiths. Speculations abound about what other treasures might be hidden, especially in secretive places like the Vatican. Whether real or not, this discovery had certainly piqued curiosity. Walking trees. Sometimes, the forest holds more than just trees. 2 friends wandering in the Canadian wilderness stumbled upon something extraordinary. As they trekked through the woods, they noticed a tree moving. Intrigued, one of them aimed his camera at it and waited for another sign of life. To their astonishment, a second tree shifted and revealed a massive humanoid giant lifting it. The sight of the giant sent shivers down their spines, and they quickly decided to leave the area. This unexpected encounter left them shaken to the core. Perhaps some legends are rooted in reality after all. Always keep your eyes peeled. You never know what wonders or giants you might encounter. Mummy mystery. In 2016, scientists found something really crazy in the Peruvian desert, which is infamous for mummified discoveries. But this time, they dug up a mummified hand that looked all gray and rock hard, like limestone. But this hand only had 3 fingers instead of the usual 5. It even had 2 strange metal rings on it, and no one knows where they came from. This odd find sparked wild theories about extraterrestrials and even giants. While scientists are eager to conduct DNA tests or analyze fingerprints to uncover the hand's true identity, we'll have to wait for those scientists to do their magic. Sometimes the desert keeps its secrets a little longer, but the truth might just be worth the wait.
Dani, se puede ver los dedos de las uñas.
Sewer Skinwalker? While the sewer is the last spot where anyone would want to take refuge, it's also somewhere anyone would least expect. A sewage worker had been called in to find the source of a clog in the drain when his eyes caught something that was staring at him from a distance. The worker then kept a watchful eye at the source of the tunnel, only to discover this. After realizing it had been seen, the creature immediately tried to hide itself. Most of the viewers began to call it a skinwalker, saying it matched the physical description. Athletic Slenderman. While jogging early in the morning, a man noticed a figure on top of a mountain in Peru, seemingly doing push-ups. Initially, he mistook it for another jogger getting in a workout. However, a closer look revealed odd details. The figure was exceptionally tall, over 7 feet, with a body that curved unnaturally. Even more striking were its hands and feet, which appeared webbed, hinting at something far from human. The sight was so terrifying, the man cut off the video and ran home, but I wonder what kind of creature it was. Brazilian Giant.
Mano, pior que mexe esquisito demais.
A Brazilian homeowner noticed an eerie figure casually standing atop the mountain at the back of her house. Initially, she mistook it for some sort of climber, but here's the deal. The mountain we're looking at is practically unclimbable. It's far too steep, and there's a lot of vegetation, so most locals avoid the area. That's not the only odd thing. The humanoid figure has an oddly towering body and weirdly long arms. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that it's some sort of gigantic alien. To make things worse, it looked like it was taking some notes, which makes me think it's keeping an eye on us and observing our every move. Eye of the Devil. Two friends were returning home from a walk when they sensed as if they were being watched. Instinctively looking around, they found 2 glowing eyes staring back at them from the dark. They belonged to a goat, which stood oddly still and kept staring them down. A bit spooked by its behavior, the duo tried to continue their walk back home when they noticed something even stranger. To be able to look at them from that angle, the goat would need to stand on 2 hooves, which means it was some sort of creepy bipedal. The duo firmly believe they encountered a skinwalker, possibly stuck mid-transition. Show of Colossus. A group of Mexican citizens captured a giant creature standing on top of the mountain in front. Now, I know it's easy to play it off as a hiker exploring the area, but the mountain you're seeing is at least several thousand feet tall, which means a human wouldn't even be visible at the top, let alone this big. As the citizens stared ahead, the giant creature standing straight, as if it was keeping an eye on them. Now that's scary, right? But wait till you notice this. The mountain looks nowhere near climbable. So how did this creature get up there? Your guess is as good as mine. A message of hope. A woman was trying to record a video of the Corrego de Boi River in Brazil from her backyard when she accidentally captured this, an entity somewhere in the middle of the rolling hills, calmly glowing under the sun. At first, she thought it was a mistake, perhaps the angle or something wrong with her camera. But then she realized the figure was really there, and miraculously was being filmed. When she uploaded the video online, many were quick to comment that it could be a guardian angel sent down to Earth to keep an eye. Others believe it could be a magical entity that lives in the area. Either way, I bet this changed her life. The Yeti. A motion-detecting trail cam in Fort Wilkins, Michigan captured a gigantic creature passing through the trees. Although it happened for a short few minutes, the camera managed to track its movement until it eventually blended in with the trees. Many believe this is proof that the creature is Bigfoot, since they are believed to mysteriously camouflage just when they need it. Well, what do you think? Stone Cold. This is the sight that greeted a hiker as he was trying to record his surroundings. Initially, he couldn't really tell what it was until he zoomed in. The creature almost looked like it was carved out of rock, but believe me, it's not that. The hiker believes it's some sort of Nephilim, resting before its final wake to destroy the world. That would explain why, despite looking like a giant creature, it's oddly still. The sight spooked the hiker so much, he stopped recording. But he claims that on the trip back, the creature was no longer there. The Abominable Snowman. This clip was recorded by a group of explorers in the middle of the Pyrenees Mountains of Spain. The group was sure it was either a Yeti, a Bigfoot, or some giant snowman. Here's the short clip that showed a huge, ghostly white creature turning its head. The staff at the resort investigated the sighting, but found nothing. But the video has sparked speculations among cryptozoologists and viewers about its authenticity, with some considering it a possible evidence, while others still dismiss it as a hoax. Ghost of the Past. A trail camera captured a strange sight somewhere in a dense forest. An unnaturally tall humanoid figure appeared from behind a tree and then disappeared behind another. It's like the figure was walking through different dimensions right on camera. Its features were difficult to make out due to the low video quality, but its human-like shape and movement were very much visible. The forest where it was sighted was rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a hunter who once lived in the area. So, netizens speculated it could be the spirit of the hunter revisiting the territory, or it could be something even more unsettling. Floating Behemoth. Mountains and caves aren't the only places giants like to reside. Sometimes they make appearances at such unusual places that it forces the viewers to whip out their cameras and take a shot. Have a look at this massive humanoid captured on camera by an airline passenger above the clouds at about 30,000 feet altitude, where he spotted the creature just walking on the clouds with ease. At first, people thought it was a computer generation, but when experts analyzed the photo, it was proven to be unedited, which left everyone to wonder what that thing could be in the clouds. And it wasn't even an isolated event. Here's another clip that captured a giant bipedal creature that seemed to be walking in the sky. It's like that behemoth of a figure was walking secretly in the shadows and suddenly got exposed. The Mystery of Montana. A group of hikers noticed something rustling the leaves ahead, so they whipped out their camera only to record this, a faint white silhouette emerging almost suddenly, like it had been sitting there for a while, camouflaged against the greenery. As they continued to record and wonder about what they'd caught, the mysterious creature suddenly rose up and turned, as if it had sensed it was being recorded. While it's easy to chalk it up to a bad prank, just compare the heights. Even for someone in the NBA, reaching that height would be impossible. Stalking Ogre. A farmer's sheep kept disappearing, so he set up a camera overlooking his pastures. Although it's pretty blurry, he managed to grab something leering at his farm animals and chasing them down the hill. The creature seemed to duck when it approached the woods, almost as if it was too tall for them. And if we look at its angle, it's certainly odd. Dare I say, impossible for a human to appear that big, especially from a distance. As crazy as it sounds, the only possibility is that this is some sort of humanoid giant, forced to live in the woods to avoid being spotted, which would explain why it's only hunting out farm animals. Horned Monster. Deep in the Atacama Desert, a couple of explorers captured a horned creature between a narrow cliffside. Although it looks like a mountain goat, the creature's size was far too big. Its front legs were oddly long, prompting many to believe it wasn't even an animal, just a creature that looked like it. The sighting has ignited rumors about the reappearance of Baphomet, the deity. Yet there are also a few who believe this is the literal devil in disguise, watching explorers and hoping to manipulate them against each other. Mexican Bigfoot. A strange incident occurred on a Mexican mountain when a massive figure suddenly appeared behind a residential building, frightening the entire town. The incident caused panic among the residents, who ran out of their homes screaming in fear, believing their town was under attack. Some online users speculated that it might be a return of ancient giants, while others entertained the idea of an extraterrestrial being, considering Mexico's history of alien encounters. However, the true identity of the figure remained unknown. Despite the lack of answers, the event certainly caused a lot of fear among the locals. Giant Dogman. A hiker thought he was recording a bear until he got home and reviewed the footage. The black creature had a massive body, but its snout was oddly shaped and it looked like it had humanoid hands. And just as the hiker continued to record, he captured the creature turning to look at him, revealing a humanish face. Many believe this is an alleged sighting of the Dogman, a 7-foot-tall bipedal creature with half a dog's body and half a man's. Well, it certainly lives up to its appearance, doesn't it? Shadow Lurker.
Hemos sido convocados para la realización.
A woman was being interviewed on live TV when something odd walked behind her. At first, it almost went unnoticed, but its appearance was broadcast to the entire nation, and one eagle-eyed observer noticed this and uploaded the footage online. Here's a slower playback. See how it blends against the background? The camouflage is so strong, it's almost like it's slightly transparent, which is why many believe this could be an elusive giant finally waking up from a deep slumber and was accidentally caught on the broadcast. Prehistoric Titan. The existence of giants has long been a topic of debate. With little to no proof and an overflowing pile of blurry footage, it has been a mystery. But back in 2017, excavators working in a cave in Thailand unearthed a nearly intact giant skeleton that left the skeptics speechless. The skeleton was believed to belong to a group of ancient giants that used to live in the region. Now, the cave is open for the public to visit and witness the historic inhabitants of the region. Cliffhanger. A group of explorers were out in the Himalayan mountains when they noticed a giant dark figure walking in the snow-ridden path. It seemed to be walking hunched over, like it was hiding from something, maybe from the explorers, who still captured it. Have a look at the still shot of the creature. It doesn't look human, and gorillas don't live in that region. So, could this really be a proof of a giant, or a Bigfoot's existence? Promise of doom. Exploring unfamiliar territories can reveal many surprises. So this group of adventurers entered a cave to uncover the potential creatures hidden in the shadows. And to their surprise, they noticed a set of shining eyes peering back at them. They tried to figure out it was a wolf, a mountain lion, or a bear. Even with their curiosity up, they didn't go ahead and decided to retreat, capturing only footage of the eerie encounter. A leaf of faith. The mountain could be hiding any kind of secrets, but the only ones we're interested in are the Bigfoot ones. Here's another clip of the infamous mythical mountain dwellers captured climbing the Rocky Mountains in North America. A couple captured the unbelievable sight on their trip to the region. This giant, black, furry creature was seen standing up on the hills. The sight was creepy, as it just stared unmoving. The couple believed that there were more than one of them, as they saw another one swiftly climbing to the top of the hills. The enthusiasts believe it to be one of the most credible clips of the creature's existence. Nepalese Climber. You might be thinking, why are all these people standing like this? Are they looking for something? Well, they kind of are. When rumors about the presence of a Yeti spread out, these people got together to take a closer look at the creature. And they claimed to have found the creature climbing the hill among the trees. Some people even tried to get near them, but the giant just disappeared. Here's another clip that claimed to have captured the renowned giant. An adventurer exploring the snowy wilderness in Russia encountered the creature. He believed it was the Russian Yeti, a legendary creature rumored to roam these remote lands. And this one didn't seem happy about being filmed. It picked up the guy's travel bag, knocked it around before throwing it away, but ended up down the hill in its anger. Gravity Defier. While hiking along a logging road near a lake in Mission, British Columbia, a couple capturing the stunning scenery noticed a strange movement on top of a hill. Zooming the camera in, they recorded the footage of a hairy, ape-like figure walking and occasionally swinging its arms. The couple thought they had come across a giant being known to live on the mountains. This raises the question, was it a Sasquatch, a person, or another unidentified entity? Let me know your thoughts about this one. Heart of Stone. This guy exploring the Cyclops cave in Wales uncovered the great secrets of Cape Greco. Inside of the cave, strewn with statues, there was one that particularly caught his attention because of its unique features. The sculpture had a single eye on its head, which seemed quite odd. The artifacts discovered in the cave date back to a very ancient period, around 6,000 to 5,500 BC, which means extremely old. This discovery raised an interesting question. What could have possibly inspired the creation of a Cyclops figure during such an early period in history? Giant footprints.
There are many dinosaur footprints found right on the other side of those trees right there.
This guy's exploration trip to Texas took a very interesting turn when he found something groundbreaking. On the surface, he discovered footprints, and you would think, what's new? But those were no ordinary ones. Just look at the size of it.
Kind of looks like a Nephilim giant footprint.
The guy also put his foot on it to give a comparison. It was truly huge.
Put my foot right there.
Complete with 5 toes. Strangely, these giant footmarks were said to be surrounded by dinosaur footprints. And this bit of information started speculations. Some people dismissed this, saying humans didn't exist during dinosaur times, while others wanted the experts to authenticate the discovery. However, until now, there's been no word on it.
So this is very interesting.
Clueless Explorer. This hiker out on an adventure unintentionally captured a mythical creature that had been the topic of various online debates over the years. Camera in hand, he was recording his journey, and when the camera panned behind him, a dark, giant creature was captured and quickly got out of frame. Did it notice the camera? People on the internet said that it was the infamous Bigfoot that the guy had cluelessly captured, while skeptics argued that it was probably another guy in the suit, as these mysterious creatures' existence has never been confirmed. Creepy passerby. Out of the woods to explore nature, this guy stumbled upon a not-so-pretty natural scene. When he heard strange footsteps approaching from the distance, he got out his camera and captured this giant, pitch-black, furry creature walking by in the middle of the forest. With its heavy, strong steps, it seemed to be on a mission. Is that a Bigfoot, or just some guy walking around in a costume, giving forest visitors a little scare? Hoax or not, I would never want to see something like that in my way. Chupacabra or Skinwalker. a man set up a camera in the wild to catch some extraordinary creatures lurking in the dark. But this was what he caught. A creepy, pale figure on all fours seemed to be walking from one side of the frame to the other. You might think it's just a human pulling a prank, but have a closer look at its elongated limbs and slender form. It couldn't possibly be any human or animal. Some said it was the Skinwalker, while others went wild, saying it was a Chupacabra. And during all this frenzied speculation, the entity remained unidentified. Mud creature. While exploring the secrets of the dark woods, a group of friends found this. A pale humanoid creature was seen crawling out of the muddy swamp. It was unlike any human. When it noticed the group recording, it attempted to frighten them off. And here, the clip came to an inconclusive end, with nothing but horrific screams from those guys. The internet went crazy over the sighting. Some said it could be the Rake, a pale, elongated humanoid creature. But some also argue about it being a Skinwalker. But whatever that thing was, it didn't seem to belong to our planet. Depth Seeker. A tourist exploring Arizona's Red Rocks heard a weird, raspy sound coming close to the rocks. He stepped closer to detect the source and found it was coming from a narrow crevice in the range. Now, I know it's easy to assume there's some sort of animal hiding in there, but the crevice was way too small for that, and most animals would react defensively, so we know this isn't the case here. And then the tourist found this. Yup, just two creepy eyes staring back at him from the abyss. The tourist was sure he'd spotted some sort of evil spirit in the rocks, probably cursed to spend the rest of its life there. Ritualistic performance. Dude, what the f? Now, imagine going out into the woods for a calm, peaceful walk, expecting to see nature and wild animals. And instead, you come across this. What is that guy doing? Dressed in a black coat and... is that a mask he's wearing? And what's with that dance he's performing? I think he's involved in some kind of a ritual. And when he turned to see the guy recording, he darted out of the frame, probably out of embarrassment. And I could understand. This guy just walked in on his performance unannounced. Eerie encounter. Two men exploring a collapsed cave system in Jordan encountered the creepy face of a mysterious figure hiding behind the rocks. The face looked like a person covered in dust, or it might just be a disfigured animal. But netizens thought it was a ghost or a jinn, paranormal beings that live in a parallel world, capable of crossing into ours. Another theory said that it could be a toy doll covered in dirt. So what do you think? Was it a ghost or some cryptid? Let me know in the comments. Freezing cave creature. In a remote ice cavern near Hallstatt, Austria, known for its ancient formations, a visitor had a chilling encounter. While walking by dozens of icicles hanging from the ceiling, he noticed a strange movement on one of the walls. Initially thinking it might be a person, he zoomed in for a closer look, and couldn't believe his eyes when a ghostly white humanoid creature was seen climbing the wall like a lizard. Theories arose, with some saying the old cave was probably home to many creatures, and that was one of them, while others made a more horrifying guess, saying it was a reptilian human. Could this be an entirely new species, previously undiscovered by science? Horned beast. An explorer was out looking around in a cave when he stumbled upon a strange blob on the ground and the bones of an odd creature. He poked it with his foot, trying to figure out what it was, but couldn't identify it due to the dark cave. As he looked ahead, he had even more questions as he couldn't recognize anything. Feeling unsettled, he decided to leave. But just as he turned, he caught a glimpse of a huge, horned beast in front of him. It vanished in an instant. Scared out of his breath, he ran out of the cave, thinking he might have seen a dragon hiding there. But since it all happened so quickly, he couldn't be sure. Thailand creature. A group of friends was out bicycling around the remote mountains of Thailand when they encountered something out of this world. Taking a break around some trees, they noticed something moving along the trunk of the tree right in front of them. The movement was such that you couldn't tell if it happened or not, so let's have a look at the slowed version. It looked like a dark, faceless creature jumping down from the tree. And did you see its hand? Just how big it is. The guys quickly went behind the tree to see what it was, but didn't find anything, as it had disappeared. Pixie sighting. This clip blowing up on the internet has puzzled viewers all over the world. An explorer named Erwin Saunders went out to take a look around the British Isles and stumbled upon a short, eerie creature that resembled a pixie. A skinny olive green figure with bulging eyes and pointed ears. It seemed like it was looking for something. And before he could investigate further, the creature vanished into the forest. Internet folks claimed that the clip was a hoax, probably made with CGI. But I would like to know what you think of this clip. Let me know in the comments. Haunting stalker. This guy was out on a nighttime hike when he came across something that made him leave everything and run for his life. Noticing someone was following him, he hid in a small cave to escape the unseen stalker. However, just when he came out with his flashlight on, a lone head was staring back at him. Scared for his life, he ran out of the woods and never went back for another hike. Some believe that it was some spirit haunting the woods, while skeptics thought someone might have pulled a prank on the poor guy. But do let me know what you think of this video. Does it look real to you? Farm encounter. A farmer was walking on his farm at night when he encountered something that shocked him. A bizarre figure seemed to be hiding behind bushes. Its inky black eye and mouth were anything but normal. Upon zooming in, he saw that the face of the figure was changing. Was it shifting its shape right in front of the camera? Yet, what was this thing? And how did it end up in that field? Some said it was the rake. Some thought it might be a Skinwalker, as he was able to shapeshift, but no one seemed to know for sure. Cave Enigma. Going out on an exploration trip, only to be met with something like this, is no one's idea of fun. These guys were venturing out in Sagada, Philippines, when they encountered a creature with a massive skull and long, bony arms resting inside the cave. As soon as it realized it was being filmed, it lost its cool and scared them away. Was it guarding the cave? Or is this critter involved in something more sinister? The answers to these questions have remained elusive. But ever since the encounter, locals have steered clear of the cave. Cave Jinn. Two friends ventured into a cave that was famous for being haunted. Wanting to see what the fuss was all about, they tried summoning the being. Their call worked, and the creature suddenly appeared, possessing one of the guys. However, he didn't suffer much, as the other man managed to free him by performing a different religious ritual. They believed it was a jinn, a supernatural entity that's believed to live in a world beyond human perception. However, without more information, the true events of this clip remain a mystery. Humo Deer.
Oh, what the crap? Is that a guy? What the frick?
A guy looking over the pasture filmed the most bizarre sight. He saw two animals in the distance that looked like deer sprinting around, and see how they went to pass through that bunch of trees. What happened next was a real shocker. On the other side, instead of a deer, a humanoid figure on all fours appeared and rushed to hide behind a tree. What just happened here? Let's rewind. Did that deer change its form, or did something else happen on its very short journey through the trees? I can't think of a good enough explanation, so share your thoughts on this one in the comments. Cave worm. The journey of two men on an adventure took an unexpected turn when they stumbled upon a cave. Venturing inside, they navigated through narrow passages only to encounter the mythical being known as the cave worm. A massive, limbless, and wingless dragon-like creature. These cave dwellers, never before seen in reality, caused quite a stir online as the footage of their encounter spread. Many viewers were surprised to see the mythical creature seemingly alive. However, skeptics dismissed the footage, saying it was digitally made and not real at all. Peking Screamer. In the remote Turkish wilderness, a man heard muffled screams coming from beneath the rocks. He cautiously approached, only to be met by an eerie sight, a strange, unidentified creature who peered back at him from the shadows. Online speculations went wild. Could it be a trapped owl or something out of this world? As it had alien-like features that no one was able to explain. The clip left everyone to wonder what secrets lie within the unexplored wilds. Dinosaur remains. This next clip made the dinosaur enthusiast community lose their minds. A hunter claimed to have found real-life T-Rex skeletal remains lying in the woods. An almost complete dinosaur skeleton with flesh still on the bones. What is this? The Cretaceous period? Dinosaurs went extinct long ago, so how was this possible? Was there a possibility of a living dinosaur now? Everyone wanted to know the reality. And the truth emerged after a bit of investigation. The clip turned out to be a crafted replica from a German museum theme park, and was meant for educational purposes. The guy even confessed to misinterpreting the video to gain attention and fame. This picture and video were taken in December 2002, shortly after the discovery of a large ancient tomb of a king, which was buried deep under the desert sands. According to the source, who was part of the archaeological team and who leaked the footage, this was the tomb and body of the Sumerian god king Gilgamesh, which had been found in Iraq. The experts at the time were still trying to identify and confirm who exactly it was. Since the discovery, up till today, it's been kept from public knowledge, and not much information is known about this giant ancient king. However, if you do know more, feel free to share it with us. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again